Ladies and gentlemen, 48 hours ago, I was speaking to you about how elections in India are the most expensive in the world. The 2024 election will cost us about 1 lakh crore rupees. I'm not saying it, the Center of Media Studies is doing it based on the estimation of what was spent in the 2019 elections. 60,000 rupees, 60,000 crore rupees there, so 1 lakh crore rupees for 2024, factoring in inflation, etc. So there is, of course, the official expense of holding an election. There are EVMs and logistics and movement of officers, etc. You have to pay for their stay, their food, their stipend, their transportation. And then there is the unofficial cost that parties have to bear. Giving cash to voters, arranging for chicken and rum parties, arranging for crowds at rallies, etc. Paisa to lagta hai usme. Point is, where do political parties get their funds from? If you have to spend 100 crore rupees per constituency, you need someone really rich to bankroll your campaign. Now, much of our election campaigns, 66% actually, are bankrolled by electoral bonds. Now, these electoral bonds were introduced in 2018. And like James Bond, electoral bonds are as controversial as well. Why? Because they are anonymous. Essentially, if I'm a corporate and I say contribute 1 crore rupees to the BJP, no one in the world can find out who I contributed to. Let me correct myself. No one in the world except the government of India. So the government of India can know who I have contributed that money to or donated that money to, but not the citizens of India. Now, the opposition says the entire scheme is designed to benefit the ruling dispensation as it legitimizes kickbacks that I donate to the BJP via electoral bonds in exchange for favors that they grant me. And if a citizen of India wants to know who contributed how much to a party under law, ladies and gentlemen, they have no right to do so. Therefore, the matter is now in the Supreme Court and it is being heard by a 5-judge constitution bench. Today, the centre made its arguments and said rather interestingly, hear this carefully, that the public, that's you and me, who pay taxes, have no right to know about the source of electoral bonds. Essentially, if I as a corporate donate to say the BJP or the Congress, the public of India, the citizen of India, doesn't have a right to know who contributed and how much they contributed. The centre also said that the aim of the scheme was to weed out black money from the electoral process and clean up elections in India. The Supreme Court that was hearing the matter then remarked, why the selective anonymity? Essentially, if the public has no right to know who is bankrolling which party, then why should the ruling government get to know that? Arguments continue and so does the debate. Let's get into it. I thank my guest this evening, Karan Verma, who's an author, will be speaking on behalf of the BJP. Sanjay Jha is an author as well. Ghanshyam Tiwari is national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And Shivani Kapoor is the program lead, legal at ADR. That's the Association of Democratic Reforms, one of the petitioners in the case. So thank you all, first of all, very much for joining us. Karan Verma, I salute you and your bravery, first of all, because we did ask the BJP to join us on the program and they told us very categorically that this is not a debate that they are going to be participating in. So this could very well end up being 3:1, but I'm fairly certain you will do well. You may or may not win, but you will do well. Karan Verma, the government of India in the Supreme Court today arguing and making the case that the citizen of India doesn't have a right to know everything. Seriously? Since when has the government of India become bigger than the citizen of India? How is it that the government of India has a right to know which corporate is contributing how much to a political party, but not the citizen of India? Chori to ho nahi rahi, ye black money to hai nahi. Then why should citizens of India not know? Why should opposition parties not know?
Okay, so let me just begin with this, Shreya. When we talk about reforms, when we talk about governance, it is like a relay race where the baton is passed from one party or one government to the other. It's never done in isolation and we have to keep a watch of where we've come from. Back in 2012, when we had the other government in power, there was a time when 86% of the donations of the Congress party, and I'm talking about figures from 2012, were from anonymous donors. It was so easy. You could donate anything below 20,000 on the books and get away with anonymous things and no checks, no balances whatsoever. So from there, we've come a long way today where we have KYC compliant people operating through banking channels. So first of all, I think we have to be unanimous in admitting that at least we've made a start there. So that's number one, where I think electoral bonds have made a start. Now your question was, why should the citizens not know this? It was the Aam Aadmi Party back in 2014 and some other parties which said that just because we are making the information of our donors public, they are being harassed for no reason. They are being ostracized. And what better example than of Adani, I would say, where corporates are just ostracized for perceived leaning towards a political party. So do we want to have a witch hunt here in our country where there is already a vitiated atmosphere at times? Do we want people to be targeted and ostracized just because of their political leanings? I think we need to mature as an electorate first to see this coming. I am all for complete transparency where it's not anonymous and donor's identity is revealed. But I think we still have a long way to go before we mature as an electorate where we don't have people like Sanjay Jha, my good friend, who speaks of Adani every day. Every time he mentions Adani, I wish I had a dime. I would have been a millionaire. So till we don't have that sense of responsibility from the other side, I don't see it easy to disclose names of donors.
Okay, if I had a dime for every time the BJP these days mentions George Soros, I would be a crorepati as well. I would have retired by now. Anyhow, Sanjay Jha, this witch hunt argument, it can be argued the other way as well. I know you didn't. I'm just speaking of the BJP these days. That's okay. Let's move on. Sanjay Jha, the witch hunt argument can be made from the other side as well. You don't donate to the ruling party. They have access to who has donated to whom. No one else does. With the result, the witch hunt can be launched on people who don't donate or donate to the Congress or the TMC.
Shreya, it is unconscionable that my friend Karan Verma believes that we should take our own sweet time, a process of evolution which has got no end date. So we might take 20 years, 30 years to come to a certain maturity in our democracy when we will be transparent. This is, in one simple word, bullshit. Let's not waste our time. It's unconscionable that the government of Mr. Modi is telling the Supreme Court that the citizens of this country don't have a right to know who funds them. There is a reason why, I'll tell you, corruption will never go away from this country. As long as politics or campaign finance is not transparently known to the people of India, to the media, you will have corruption not just alive, but kicking, growing, and becoming into a Frankenstein's monster. The BJP basically is telling the people of India, get used to corruption, ladies and gentlemen. We are not going to send it away anywhere. Now, this is serious. I think it's a very serious issue, Shreya, and I want to congratulate you for doing a second back-to-back program on this subject. And I'll tell you why it's important. Because right now he mentioned Adani. The question, it's not just Adani, by the way. I'm sure BJP gets money from various corporates, etc. And I have no problem of a corporate donating to the BJP. If the corporates believe that BJP is going to live here for 50 years in power, as Amit Shah has prognosticated, they should invest more in BJP. I have no problem with that either. But as a citizen of this country, as a Democrat, someone who believes in democracy, I would like to tell the BJP through your channel, let the people of India know who's funding you. Because I'll tell you where the problem comes. The problem comes because a corporate looks for a return on investment. And that is where budget, policy announcements can favor a corporate. That is a quid pro quo. And if that happens, Shreya, you know what it means? It means you, Shreya, it means the panelists, the viewers are being swindled by a government because public assets are probably being undervalued, are being given to corporates who are benefiting because they've funded a political party. That is corruption, and it is an epic corruption, and this government cannot dodge that away.
Karan Verma, you have the right to respond. Just come in here. Fact is that 60% of all electoral bonds go to the BJP. 60% of the entire money that has been contributed or donated since 2018 has gone to the BJP. No one has quarrels about that. The Congress party is a distant 10% and the TMC is at third number with an 8%. Donation. All right, no one has a quarrel with that. As a corporate, I have the right to choose who I want to give my money to, hard-earned money to, or donate my money to. I have a complete right to that. I'm not denying that. The problem is with the lack of transparency, and I'm not the only one, by the way, saying that. Today, the Supreme Court has spoken about this selective transparency.
I think it's the right amount of transparency right now. I'll tell you why. Because the quantum of money is reflected in the P&L statements of the corporate. So you know that they've donated money. They've not, done it under the table or anything.
The money is reflected.
They've donated the money.
The money is reflected.
Now, who do they have?
No, you get a tax exemption under 80C. Karan, just let me tell our viewers. This.
Correct.
Under section 80C, they will get a tax exemption. Okay. Uske liye, for the money they contribute. So the amount of money that, say, a corporate has contributed will reflect in their IT returns. But what will not reflect in the IT returns is who they donated this money to. And that is where the problem lies.
So it should not. Why do you want to know that? No, why is that a problem? Why should we disclose which party, which corporate has favored which party or not? Even if you get to know this, will you put a stop to this? I mean, how does it help you? I think it's a matter of privacy. I don't want anyone to know who I've cast my vote to.
How does it help the government?
Just hear me out.
How does it help the government to net? How does it help the government to not let citizens of India know? Tell me that.
No, I think it's a matter of privacy. Just as I am not comfortable sharing to you who I voted for, similarly, perhaps this corporate is not comfortable telling you who they've donated to and how much. How much is clear in the P&L statements. What will you get by knowing this information and Sanjay Jha calling it corruption? How is this corruption? It's happening through banking channels. It's perfectly legal for a corporate to donate money. How is this corruption, Sanjay? Please explain to us. Corruption was what Congress did in 2012, where anonymous donations below 20,000 accounted for 86% of your campaign finance. That was corruption of the highest order. And now you are waxing eloquent when things are happening through KYC channels and they are well reflected in your balance sheets and your banking channels. I mean, for crying out loud, don't create this hysteria just as you create for Adani. This is happening perfectly within legal parameters.
Acha, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
20 seconds to Mr. Jha, after which I am asking Shivani question, the question that Karan is asking. Aapko janne ki kya zarurat hai? Why do you need to know? But go ahead. Mr. Jha, quick response.
But Shreya, I think it's not about the Congress or the opposition. I think the people of India have a right to know that are there political parties actually stooges in the hands of the big industries of our country. This is, by the way, an issue which is being debated all over the world. The question, I'm saying it again, let BJP monopolize the funds. Tell the people that you are not indulging in quid pro quo, crony capitalism and what we call as rent seeking. Point number two, very important, Shreya, I'm sure the ADR lady will definitely address this. You know, they changed a law whereby now shell companies can donate unlimited amount of monies to a political party through the electoral bond. Basically, you can create fraudulent companies where there are no cap. Earlier, there was a 7% cap. Now, 100% of the money coming through check can actually be money laundered. I mean, I don't think Karan Verma knows what he's talking about. I'm sorry.
Shivani Kapoor, Karan Verma also wants to know, just like no one has a right to know who I voted for, why should anyone have the right to know who I donated for? Janne ki zarurat kya hai, isse hoga kya? ADR has gone to court with that question, but why did you need to go to court? Why do you want to know?
First of all, I just want to ask a cross question. What is the role of citizens then in a democracy, in a participatory democracy? Our role is just that voting once in 5 years and that's about it. And then we mute about anything and everything that is happening in this whole country. Why do we want to know about the financial transaction of political parties? I'll tell you why. Because, if everybody is aware of the fact that in 2014, BJP and Congress, both of them were found guilty of taking foreign funding. That information would not have been possible if that information was not in the public domain. So that is why we, the people of India, want to know that. We, the people of India, want to know that. You just started with Shreya, you just started with this, that 2019 Lok Sabha elections were the most expensive in the whole world. Now 2024 election are going to be even more expensive because of the electoral bonds, because of the unlimited anonymous corporate donation. So that is why we want to know that, because eventually we are the taxpayers, we pay tax. Political parties have been given 100% tax exemption, and then there is no limit in the election expenditure of political party. There is no law governing political parties. Whatever they do, there is no way to penalize them. There is no way to penalize their office bearers. The maximum election commission can do is issue warning, maybe issue a show cause notice, and that's about it. That is why we want to know. We are here. We, the people of India, act as a watchdog in a democracy. We have a role to play in a democracy. We do the audit of the political parties. We do the audit of their functioning, and that is why we want to know. It is as simple as that. And and right to information of citizen is way more above. It is above than right to privacy claimed by this so-called government. And this has been time and again held by the Supreme Court with various pronouncements. So I don't need to go there. But right to information is the first and the foremost right of every voter. So that is why we want to know.
And electoral bonds are not covered under the right to information. Ghanshyam Tiwari, I'll give you the last word. You've been waiting patiently, listening to everyone. One of the arguments that have been made in the Supreme Court today is that of black money. Now, every time I think of black money, I think of demonetization and the nightmares that had ensued. But let's forget that for a moment. The argument made in the Supreme Court by the government lawyer is, देखो black money होता है कितना in elections, and if you have electoral bonds, all the money is white money. We know there is clean money coming in. It helps us clean up the election process. What can be the problem in that?
Good evening, Shreya, to you, the viewers and fellow co-panelists. There are 3 or 4 things. This government has given the write-offs of nearly 15 lakh crores. Here's a very simple scheme. A shell company goes, uses the government contacts, takes a large number of loans, donates to BJP, enables a write-off, and is able to walk away with the new company because BJP has enabled the system. There is a very easy model that BJP has created, the electoral bond model, which is there to ensure that corporates, by the way, corporate is not an individual. The foolish argument that anybody can give is the corporate has a right. Corporates respond to the shareholders. I, as a shareholder, need to know that if you're funding a party that is known for hate, I don't want that. So you have a right as the CEO and the board of the company to inform me. But BJP does not want that. No matter how you slice and dice this is corporate plunder and legalized looting, in the words of the former Prime Minister, that BJP has ensured. And in the case of Manish Sisodia, for example, the statement from the Supreme Court that made headlines was that we can see the benefits that are accrued because of this policy to certain entities. Here is BJP that has accrued tens and thousands of crores due to electoral bonds. Look at the headline based on ADR report that national parties collected 17,249.45 crores from unknown sources between 2004 and 2021. Who are these parties? What portion of that came from BJP? And because BJP and its people would like to defend Adani, no matter what the topic of the debate is, the question asked in the parliament to BJP was removed was that how much money has Adani donated to Bharatiya Janata Party? There is no answer to that. So what BJP wants is, it wants to be the only party that through backdoor channels will know which corporate can donate its money, figure out the business model that works in its favor, try to be the richest party, try to have the richest businessmen in the world by their side, and in a way arm twist everybody else, arm twist the citizen by leaking their data, arm twist the citizen by not telling them where the electoral bonds is coming from, arm twist you by ensuring that people are snooped and they can walk away with charges of snooping leaders of opposition, and arm twist the entire press media if they ask questions. This is the model of dictatorship. BJP is using money and muscle to turn India from democracy into dictatorship.
Okay. Essentially, your argument is that this, the larger argument that the opposition is making and ADR is making is this is legitimizing kickbacks. Karan Verma, I have exactly 20 seconds. Please don't take any more time than that. Can I ask you, and I'm going to ask you the question I started with. I, as a citizen of India, pay taxes. I, as a citizen of India, pay taxes. The government doesn't pay taxes. The BJP doesn't pay taxes. The Congress party doesn't pay taxes. I, as a citizen of India, pay taxes, and I am the one who doesn't have a right to know. And my government, funded by my taxes, is telling the Supreme Court that yes, the citizen of India doesn't have a right to know everything. Wah, kya baat hai?
Well, that's what the Constitution says. Our right to know is under reasonable restrictions. So, when it comes to morality, law, and other certain grounds, our right to know is not absolute.
Karan,
let's understand
we are
this.
not
What
asking
Ghanshyam
for
just said is very
India's
dangerous.
nuclear secret.
He said if a party...
Karan,
just 1 second.
No, Karan, we are not asking for India's
Please, 10
nuclear
seconds.
secret.
Give me 10
We are not
seconds,
asking
please.
for India's nuclear secret. We just want
I'm
to
telling you
know
how it's going to
which
backfire.
corporate is giving how
I'm
much
telling you how
money
it's going
to which
backfire.
party.
Give me 10 seconds. Yeah, I'm coming to that. Ghanshyam just said that if there is a party that is fueling hatred, citizens will boycott that party. Do we want cancel culture and vendetta politics to take over the streets, where one corporate is just cancelled because so-called hatred is being funneled by it? Do we want their stocks to fall down? Do we want them to suffer? Do we want a financial mess? We are not ready for that sort of anarchy. It is equivalent to a secret, because spilling this out will lead to a vitiated atmosphere. We don't want cancel culture to run havoc here.
Revenge
We want a far
argument
more
can be
reasonable
argued
opposition
from the
force
other
to
side
not
as well.
Use this as a tool.
No, Karan Verma. Karan Verma, that reprisal, that revenge argument can be argued from the other side as well.
Today there is
that
a norm.
you don't contribute to the ruling party, you contribute to the opposition, then you are dead as well. So that argument will hold both ways, huh, Karan?
So of course, I think our data should be kept, should be preserved. I believe that that's where we need suggestions. That's where we need data protection laws. I was expecting the Congress and my friend Sanjay Jha to come up with suggestions, but they want to scrap the entire thing, which is a great progression from their days. That's what I say.
No one is asking. Listen, I don't have a problem with electoral bonds. I have a problem with the secrecy and the selective secrecy. Okay, we leave it there. Karan, as I said, it is very brave of you to come on a show where there were three panelists who were opposing what you were saying. I wish the BJP had sent a representative as well here. Karan, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you, Sanjay Jha. Thank you, Ghanshyam Tiwari. Thank you very much. And Shivani Kapoor, good to have you on the show. This was an interesting discussion. Let's see the debate and the way it progresses in the Supreme Court tomorrow now.